Tired of Trump? How bad is the house price fall? Will Bill be denied his tax grab on poor old retirees? And sonic boom, an acquisition in the air. I'm Peter Switzer.
I'm Paul Ricard.
And we're mad about money. Paul, I've liked some aspects of Trump's policies, but I'm just getting tired of him spooking the stock market. We were down something like 400 points after he decided to fight the Democrats over a damn war between America and Mexico. He's got to get his act together.
He does. It makes a pretty compelling viewing seeing him and Nancy Pelosi sort of...
It was good viewing.
Whatever we call it, the big fight on TV, just crazy stuff. I mean, look,
Could be a TV show in America.
It could be a TV show. Maybe that's what he's angling for as his next career. I don't know. He's got to get his act together. Look, I still think the Christmas rally is probably still on the cards.
Yeah,
but
I think it wants to, but he's throwing curveballs all the time.
But also the volatility's got to settle down, and he's got to get out of the way. So I don't know, Pete. I think a lot of people are just standing back and watching the markets and saying it's all a bit hard. And it's a bit the way I feel at the moment, because there's just too many things coming out of left field from the office and the White House.
Yeah, exactly. And because the Fed was another problem, but the Fed's basically said...
Fed's on side, I think.
Fed's on side for a Christmas rally, but we need Donald just to shut the F up for a while to get the rally going. How bad is the house price fall?
Well, not as bad as it's made out to be, Peter, because as we've seen the data, look, it's nowhere near as bad as you might believe in the 9. Now, the ex-Fairfax TV press, now the 9 press.
That's right, 9
which
press.
Is, I think Paul Murray's taken to calling them Channel 9 media.
Yeah.
But look, it's not as bad as it's made out to be. I mean, look, the housing market is coming off the boil. We've known that for some time. It's predictable because it went up too far. But look, it's not as bad. The market will show some resilience. I think there's going to be a bit more strength coming into the first quarter next year.
Yeah, the ABS showed yesterday Sydney's down about 4.3%. That's only going to September, so there's a couple of more months in there. But interesting, Domain research has shown that 100 Sydney suburbs are actually seeing prices go up at the moment, Paul. But they also said, a buyer's agent quoted, said that the west and south of Sydney, it's a nightmare. So it's a really mixed bag, but it's not bad all over the place. It doesn't look like a collapse. That's the point I'm making.
Well, it's not bad in all parts of Australia either. I mean, Hobart's still in a boom. I mean, rental rates there, vacancy rates
Brisbane and Adelaide are rising.
Are down under 1%. So, and there's parts of Melbourne that are showing strength down in the in the southeast. So look, I mean, look, it needs to come off the boil. That's what happens. The banks, if anything, some of this are actually starting to open the purse strings a little bit on the lending side. So I think we're probably going to see a bit more flattening in that market. Maybe some of these scary headlines will disappear next year.
And I think first-home buyers are now at a 6-year high, and that's one of the reasons why the APRA wanted to stop investors and Chinese borrowers getting properties to help with first-home buyers. So improvement there. Let's keep our fingers crossed that it doesn't become as bad as people predict. Now, will Bill be denied his tax grab on poor old retirees and their tax refunds?
Well, I mean, finally the press has got onto this story, Peter, and worked out there's a story in the AFR today which says, what we've said all along, this won't get through the crossbench. That is the retiree tax, and 9 out of the 10 crossbenchers, according to the story in the AFR, are opposed to the tax, and there's one other who hasn't made his mind up yet. But look, the only way this can get through easily is if the ALP and Greens get a majority in the Senate next year. That's unlikely. This is an incredibly unpopular policy with over 1 million people, so you'd expect the popular senators to say no.
Yeah.
I still think there'd be, as we've said all along, Peter, some sort of compromise allowing, probably with our cap it, $10,000, $20,000 per individual as the maximum amount of cash refund. That'll be a compromise that'll happen at some stage. But it won't, as currently conceived, it's very unlikely to get legislated. The other thing I think is really interesting is the noise coming out of the Labor Party themselves about negative gearing, which is, you're seeing more and more stories about that being delayed. Yep.
Yeah. Which is sensible if house prices are on the slide.
And you can guarantee that those stories are coming from, Shorten or Bowen's office, and they're just feeding it out to a couple of...
He's been reading our stuff. We've been saying that. Delay the things
he's been noticing what you say, but I'd love to say we should all credit Peter Switzer. And I'm sure you've been really important, and you have, but it's the leaks are there. So, look, I think these things, the Labor Party it wants to get government. It realises these policies are dangerous. and it will either meet opposition in the Senate or you will see some sort of delay. So I've always said that along, you've got to be really careful about reacting to announcements from governments, particularly when
opposition
resolves around a tax change, because there's absolutely no certainty that what they say when they make the announcement will ever be legislated.
And I guess what I'm thinking now is a Labor government with a sensible Senate might be okay.
Well, that might maybe this is the time for popular senators because
a crazy Senate becomes a sensible Senate. I'll give that a big tick. Okay, finally, Paul, you tell us Sonic.
Yeah, just a bit of news this morning. Sonic's made an acquisition, Sonic Healthcare in the US, buying quite a big pathology business, paying about $700 million for an American pathology group. Look, good luck to them. US acquisitions by Australian companies. This is all about.
Is Sonic a good company, Paul?
Look, I actually prefer at the moment primary, partly in that space, but Sonic has got a much bigger offshore business. In fact, I think about half its business is now offshore pathology. Yeah. So good luck to them. But US acquisitions, as we've seen, have been challenging. Also, one thing you don't like about this, they're doing it via a placement, institutional placement, I think $19.50. But for small shareholders, all they can do is participate in a share purchase plan after the event. So there's no renounceable rights here, which is a bit poor. So anyhow, that's an acquisition. Still corporate activity happening. And look, I guess the market will judge that and say, look, it's a sensible move. But as you know, Australian companies' track record buying businesses offshore ain't good.
Okay, mate. So
we don't put the knockers on them, but we just tell that's the fact.
You don't want it, but you did. I'm Peter Switzer.
I'm Paul Rickard.
And we're mad about money.
Content has been prepared without taking account of an individual's financial objectives, needs, or financial situation. It does not constitute formal advice. Before acting, any individual should consider the appropriateness of the information, having regard to the individual's financial situation, needs, and financial objectives. Past performance is not a guide for future performance. AFSL 286531.